Buonasera, everyone. We are right now in a neighborhood called Garbadella, which is in Rome, is way out of the touristy areas, and we are at a Michelin-rated restaurant called Ristoro degli Angeli. And I am starting right now with some zucchini fritters, a glass of white wine from Lazio, the region of Rome, and some bread. And this bread is Kachori Pepe, and there's two other types of bread, homemade here at this beautiful restaurant with beautiful street art. This is a very hip neighborhood as well, because there's a lot of great street art all around. And this was recommended to me by a super urbanist who said I should come here. So the owner is really great. It's owned by a husband and wife, and he's super friendly. And let's try it out. Join me for a great dinner. So I had to come here. It was luckily very close to the Baths of Caracalla. Only one subway ride, or only like 3 subway stops away. It was really, really quick. And this is a Michelin-rated place. So it is very popular. The thing is, I'm here very early, and it's not tourist season yet. And also, Romans tend to not hang out too much in Rome in July. So it is fairly empty. So before this cools down too much, we're trying this classic treat from Rome, and it is pumpkin flowers, not zucchini flowers. I misspoke a little bit earlier. Pumpkin flowers, and it's with anchovies. You probably see me combine zucchini flower or pumpkin flowers with anchovies a lot. They are obsessed with it here in Rome. They look like jalapeno poppers, but they're not. Maybe jalapeno poppers were inspired by this. Let's try it out. Boom. It just exploded with juices. Poor white shirt. Poor white shirt, but that's the price you pay for eating good food. So anchovies is huge here, and look at this beautiful heaping of mozzarella cheese. It's so juicy that it exploded on my face. It squirted on me as I bit into it. The breading is so good. I'm genuinely impressed. You can even look at it visually. It looks like something really special. And it's dripping. Oh yeah. Mmm. That cheese in Italy is so juicy, so filled with flavor. Wow.
Com'è? Amico mio.
Delizioso.
Delizioso.
Delicioso. Un video vivo.
Stai facendo un video con me? Mi metto vicino a te.
Food vlogger, sono un food vlogger.
Io sono Ivo.
Ivo. Ivo.
Ciao.
Ciao. Vicky, bravissimo.
Grazie. Grazie.
So where's the wine, Marco? I'm not sure what he said. Let me know what he said. Where's the wine? This is wine from Lazio. Let's try it out. Roman wines are not as intense as French wines, and I like it in that way because they're kind of very refreshing, especially the white wines. I haven't had too much experience with the red wines, but they're very refreshing. And yeah, the owner is super friendly. I came here immediately and I was blown away. Is this where we're having the carbonara? No, unfortunately, carbonara is not on the menu. And I decided to order a specialty of the restaurant, which is a recipe they make. So it's not carbonara. Carbonara, you have to wait. There's another Michelin associated place with carbonara, more in the historic center, which we'll try out another day. So the wine is very refreshing. Super bright. It's kind of a semi-sweet wine. Absolutely love wine. Hey, you look more sophisticated holding that wine glass. Dig the coffee cup more often, says Veronica. Indeed I do. I sent you some suggestions for carbonara. Thank you so much, Tanami. 10 to me. Thank you so much. One of them is definitely a historic place, so thank you so much for sending those suggestions. So wonderful flavor. So this place might look like ancient. It used to be a governmental office in the neighborhood of Garbadella. And then it became a restaurant just a few years ago, opened up by a husband and wife who seem to be very passionate about food. Cue the sirens. So this neighborhood is very beautiful. I like it. Very different from the historic center of Rome. And we're actually right next to an aperitivo bar and kind of a more casual bar right next to it. And just one more time, the views, so you can see it. That's the place. Wendy says romantic music. There's no romantic music. So it won't be copyrighted. I had to go live in SD. So you're seeing this in 480p, and it's because there is very little service here. Very little service. So I wanted to play it safe. Okay, I'm excited for this. I tried the appetizer first because it was hot, and I'm gonna continue with this appetizer. But before I continue with this appetizer, let's try the Kachori Pepe bread. Yep, they made Kachori Pepe into a bread. I don't know how they made this. It has black pepper, it has Pecorino Cheese. If you don't know what Kachori Pepe is, watch my short video on it. I explained it within 2 minutes. I'm so excited for this. Wow. That is some flavorful black pepper. Wow, mind blown. The black pepper is really loud here. It's super floral. It's like biting into a spicy bouquet of flowers in the middle of the jungle. Is it spicy? No, it's punchy, but not spicy. It's not red pepper. This is a true black pepper, the real way, the real Roman way. And the Pecorino cheese is very good, adds that little bit of salty quality to it. This is a very interesting bread. Very interesting bread. Wow, that is a great bread. We're gonna try the other breads throughout the meal. Stay tuned. But that bread, so filled with flavor. Hey Veronica, nice to see you here. And Matt, nice to see you here too. Cartier, welcome. Ask them for a loaf to take away, says Kay. I'm not sure if they will do that. They do make it. They do make it at home. They do make it here. Even your food reviews are poetic, says Joe. Indeed they are, Joe. So the staff is peeping behind me, says Shiny. For one practical reason, even if I weren't filming a video, the reason they're peeping at me is because this is kind of more of a formal restaurant. So as I mentioned, there's different categories of food places here. Like in the US, we have cafe, restaurants, and fast food and fast casual. Italy has a few more. And we're not in a trattoria, nor we're a osteria, which are kind of a little bit more lower end, more casual. We are in a ristoro, or a restaurant. And to them, a restaurant is kind of a more high dining experience. And the reason they're looking back, one of the reasons is because they're looking when I finish this appetizer so they can get working on the next dish. They're probably not going to serve me the next dish until I finish this. Unlike what you might encounter in kind of a trattoria or some other restaurant. Deanne says, I guess Patreon doesn't count as a supporter anymore. Deanne, it does. What are you referring to, Deanne? You're still super urbanist. You're not gonna have the badge because on Facebook the badge is only for people who are supporting on Facebook. There's no way I can give you a supporter badge on Facebook. Same thing with Patreon subscribers on YouTube. There's no way I can give you a badge. Italy's filled with life, says Marco. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. It's filled with so much life. Absolutely delicious. This is one of the juiciest. It's so well balanced. It's absolutely delicious. I highly recommend already, just this place already for this appetizer alone. Tina, you asked, is the food good here? Oh yeah, oh yeah. This place I'm very impressed. For appetizer so far, I'm really impressed. Let me show you a little bit closer look. So look at that cheese. That cheese is super watery, which is a good thing. You know, it has a lot of water content. And then the blossoms that they chose for the pumpkin blossoms, really great. Really great. And I also love the breading that they use. The breading's not too greasy. And yeah, everyone, no politics on this broadcast, so no politics are allowed in the comments whatsoever. Hey, Sunshine, I just watched the Baths of Caracalla. Oh my god, excellent. Bravo. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolutely blown away. So, appetizer is done. What is the appetizer? It was fried pumpkin leaves with stuffed with cheese and anchovies. Anchovies were good as well. But to be honest, the anchovies kind of just blended in so well with the mozzarella cheese. It was a really good combination. Wendy says, I would love to bite just a little bit. What's the inside of the pocket of the appetizer? It was pumpkin blossom, which is the flower of the pumpkin. Flower. The flower of the pumpkin. Mozzarella cheese, or buffalo mozzarella. It was very watery, so it's one of those two. And anchovies, all mixed together, coalescing together. Tara says, yes, I love living vicariously through you. Oh, I'm so glad, Tara. I'm so glad you're enjoying these broadcasts. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ronnie says chicken nuggets from Burger King is also great. Can't deny the certain beauties of American fast food. Robert says ancient Roman politics is allowed. Indeed it is. Yes, you can discuss Caracalla if you want to. Hey, Panajota says, yummy. Indeed it is yummy. Indeed it is. And so Matt says, every night in Rome is a night of 23 stars because that's how many Michelin stars are in Rome. Rome actually has one less Michelin star than Naples, is writing Matt. Wow, Naples actually beat it and has 24. Oh, that's interesting. So 23 Michelin stars, and we're at one of them. So I'm so excited. Sopa de crema de flor de calabaza, dice Jorge. Sí, en Puerto Rico se hace más flor de calabaza, crema de calabaza. Pero aquí no hay tanto crema de calabaza. Here there's not really pumpkin soup. They use more of the flour. I'm not sure why. I haven't even seen the actual pumpkin being used. Or the actual zucchini, a little bit less. Sometimes on the pizza. What are Michelin stars, says Tara. So there is a guide called the Michelin Guide, which is actually sponsored by the tire company from America. This originates many, many decades back, I think to the dawn of the car becoming really commonplace in America, which is probably the 40s or the 50s. And Michelin, in order to incentivize people to drive longer distances across the country, end up making a guide in order to tell people what's the best restaurants to visit. And it just became kind of normal to refer to the Michelin guide. And they just end up, selling those tires.
Can I?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Absolutely delicious. Thank you. So lo and behold, many decades later, somehow Michelin, the tire company, is now one of the premier authorities in what is good food, what is excellent, really food that stands on its own. And that is actually kind of crazy how a tire company became an authority on food. So yeah, that is the origin story. Joe says, I thought Michelin tires were sold in restaurants. Not quite. They wanted to promote restaurants in order to sell Michelin tires. Although now it's taking a life on its own. I'm not sure who owns it. I'm not sure if Michelin still owns the Michelin Guide. Maybe they do. I think it's still branded with Michelin. But that's how Michelin starts. So there's a lot of restaurants with 1 Michelin star. I think this might be a 1 Michelin star. Don't quote me on that. There's 4 categories. There's a restaurant in the guide, period. They're just in the guide, and that's already a pretty good ranking. That means they're very exceptional. 1 Michelin star that means that someone came in and rated them very well, and I think they're cross-reviewed. I'm not entirely sure their process, but it's one of the best restaurants in the world out of maybe a few thousand. And then you got 2 Michelin stars, even less restaurants. I actually featured a 2 Michelin star restaurant in New York, Gabrielle Caruth. Actually really mind-blowing food. 2 Michelin stars tend to be much more higher dining experiences. 1 Michelin stars can be this kind of like a restaurant side in a random Italian neighborhood, or it could be, there's even a Michelin star rated fast food stand in Singapore. There is a few Michelin star rated pizzerias in Naples, which are not even kind of fancy pizzerias. They just make excellent pizzas. And then you have 2 stars, which are a little bit higher dining. And then you got 3 stars. 3 stars is very rare. I think there's very few 3 stars restaurants. Hey Thomas, thank you so much for the €229. I appreciate you. I never knew. I always wonder why they call them Michelin stars. Yeah, now you know. Taiwan market. Yeah, Taiwan night market also has a Michelin star. The perfect carbonara dish search continues. Yeah, today we will not be fulfilling that search. They don't have carbonara on the menu. They do have Kachori Pepe on the menu. I already tried an exceptional Kachori Pepe, so I decided to go for another different main course. Or primeri plati. So there's usually the appetizer. There's the primeri plati, which is the first plate. Then they have the segundi plati, which is the second plate. Primeri plati usually is pasta. Segundi plati is usually meat dishes, but here they do it a little bit different. They have some other interesting choices, which you're gonna find out. So I'm doing primeri and segundi plati, and who knows? I'm not sure if they have dessert here, but who knows? If they have dessert, we might go for a 4th course. For dessert, consider giolotti. What many locals claim the best gelati in Rome, says Amherst. Giolotti. Okay, let's consider that. Not for today, but maybe for a future broadcast. Thank you, Amherst. Giolotti. Carolyn sent 200 stars. Thank you so much, Carolyn. There's a 3 Michelin star restaurant in New York City. It has a 1-year waiting list. Yeah, which one is that one? I know there's already a few high-end restaurants. But for example, there are very high-ranking restaurants that are held in high regard, that are not Michelin star rated. For example, Mexico City does not have a Michelin star at all. And they have some very popular restaurants, or some very well-known restaurants. And same thing with New York. I think there's a few really high-end, well-known restaurants that don't have Michelin stars. Victoria, Ariel está Está muy bien que puedes de todo hacer, educas el palabra. Que puedo educar todo de esto. Qué bien que puedo educar de esta comida. Es un crucero pobre croquetas de lagarto. Yo no he probado croquetas de lagarto. Yo no sé si eso lo venden aquí. I don't know if they sell croquettes of lizards. Eso sí interesante. ¿De qué tú estás significando? What are you talking about? Panachote says Le Bardin. Le Bardin is actually the restaurant of Anthony Bourdain's best friend, who passed. Anthony Bourdain passed away. He's still living on his memory, and he only owns one restaurant. So I would love to go to Le Bardin one day. This I can afford, but Le Bardin, be pushing the budget a little bit right now. So pro tip, if you want to try Michelin rated food, go to other countries aside from the US and maybe Japan, and you'll spend less. Or US, France, Japan, you'll probably spend too much money. Of course they're experienced, but it's gonna break your bank. But here in Italy, I'm kind of surprised by the prices for this Michelin rated place. When he says one day you will, oh yes, I would love to do a behind the scenes with in Le Bardin. So as we're waiting for food, feel free to ask me anything that you would like. This is more of a casual dining experience. Let me show you more of the views. There's a portrait here of Enrico Mancini. If anyone knows who Enrico Mancini is, do let us know. So no, this restaurant is not Chef's Table, which Peggy is alluding to. In Japan, there's omasake, which is kind of the Japanese version of Chef's Table. And where I went to in Gabriel Caruth, there was Chef's Table. Here, there's no Chef's Table. Here, there's a menu. For people who don't know, for high dining experiences, there's a la carte, which is a menu. You pick from your menu. Basically, most restaurants, that's what they do. Then there is Chef's Table. Might go from names like omasake, might have other names in other places. But that is where they say it's a set amount of courses, might be usually 5 is usually the minimum. 5 to about 11 courses is usually what tends to be the maximum. And then they serve you all these dishes that are specially made that day or that season. They're making those dishes and that's what they're serving you. You can tell them what you're allergic to and they'll adjust. But you're at the hands of the chef in a Chef's Table. George, will you visit France? Maybe one day I will visit France. And Sonia, thank you so much for 100 stars. I appreciate you. Thank you. When would you visit France, George? I already visited Paris in 2019. It was a very difficult place to have interesting food because everything's so expensive and they're all sit-down restaurants. And it's like kind of more formal to eat out. So, but France is an interesting place. I can't wait to go back. I love the food. I especially love the bakeries. The bakeries in Paris really what blew me away. I can't wait to explore more of France. Matt says in 2005, Michelin published its first American guide covering 500 restaurants in the 5 boroughs of New York City and 50 hotels in Manhattan. Interesting, they made a specific New York guide. Harry Mancini was a classical film composer. Indeed he was. This is Enrico Mancini. Maybe they're related? Thomas, thank you so much for the super chat. And Zooland, thank you so much for a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And Hermes, yes, that's what that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Where's Federica? Doing her own thing. I'm not friends with Federica. We just collaborated today. So today I met Federica. Chef Ben or Below Deck has a star. Ooh, what's Chef Ben? Would you be willing to share your budget for this trip? I'll tell you what the price is for the food today. And generally I do share the prices of the food I cover. And then I'll tell you the price for the Airbnb when I show you my Airbnb. So stay tuned towards the end of my trip. Per Se is a 3 Michelin star in New York City. Oh, thank you so much. Per Se. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. Can't wait to go one day to Per Se. All right, let's try these other breads as we're waiting for the food. They said that the food might take a while because it's all freshly made. So here, we're gonna take our sweet, sweet time in Italy. So as we're waiting, let's try the other bread. Wow. That bread just transported me to somewhere else. I bit into this and I felt the breeze blowing through the field of grains. As the sun glistens, leaving a golden hue upon the landscape. Wow. Oh my God, that's a good bread. I'm not sure why it's so good. It's fluffy, that's for one. It's crusty. It's a focaccia. I think it's a focaccia, yeah. It tastes like a focaccia. Wow. Praise Santa Maria. You know, this should be served as the Holy Communion. Forget the wafers. This should now be the Holy Communion given every Sunday in church. Wow. That was a transcendental experience. Oh my God. I can't even describe. I can't even describe to you why. It's just bread, but I don't know. Something about it. ¿Qué te recuerda? Nada en particular, Victoria. Eso sea un sentido de puro amor. Nothing in particular makes me remind me of this bread. It's not like a ratatouille where I get a flashback to some time in my childhood. That has happened a few times in my trip, but not with this. It was just a feeling of love. That's how I felt biting into that piece of bread right now. Heaven Bound says, those words you just said describing the bread was very eloquent. Thank you. Thank you, Heaven Bound. It looks like an omelet with potatoes. Vita says, yes, poetic description. I love New York City Italian bread, says Susie. Yes, New York City Italian bread is really good. The temperature, is it the same here as New York City? Yeah, it's about the same as New York City. I think it's about like 80-something degrees Fahrenheit right now. Saren says, I would love to know how you prepare your own carbonara. Carbonara is very simple. I use guanciale mixed with bacon, American bacon. The reason I do that is because it's a bit tough to find lots of guanciale, especially very fresh. So I mix it together. Grazie mille. I feel transported to the sea. It's like I just went on a sailboat off the coast of Puerto Rico. Crystal clear blue waters. Again, the sun is trickling through the clouds, and I take a swim. That's how it smells like. Ooh. Hannah sent 100 stars. Thank you so much, Hannah. Do you guys really want to see it? Do you really want to see this amazing pasta dish? This is their specialty, and they seem to really enjoy seafood. This the couple who runs the restaurant. All right, you asked for it. Don't blame me if you book your trip immediately to Rome after me describing this dish. So here it is. Their pasta mixed in with fresh seafood. Look at that pasta, fresh made pasta of the day. Calamari, I think those are mussels. We have, I think, what appears to be slices of zucchini, all in their special sauce. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, you might be in luck. I think the sauce might either involve oil or butter. So I think you're in luck. For the people who are huge butter/oil lovers, this place has it. They have a special butter from the Apennine Mountains. I'm not sure if this is the dish with that butter, but it looks like definitely looks at least like oil. Ooh, look at that drip. There we go, wait for it. Yeah, it's a small portion. Yeah, it's a small portion. It's a small portion. Keep that in mind. When you go to high-end restaurants, keep that in mind. It's gonna be a small portion. Don't go to a high-end restaurant if you're famished and you just really want to eat something, unless if you have the budget for it. But high-end restaurants are more kind of for the experience, for the atmosphere, or in this case for the food as well. You're kind of going for the experience of the food. This is not a place to get really stuffed and get your values worth in food. So just keep that in mind when you go to these restaurants. That pasta, perfectly bouncy, nicely al dente. It looks like little slices of lasagna pasta, actually. Almost the same kind of wavy shape to it. Yeah, it's really good. I love how they really captured the taste of the sea. It's very, very sea tasting. You taste that kind of salt water in there. Goddess, does it taste really good because you're in Italy, or does it taste really good, actually? You know, this dish is amazing. Let me have a little bit more. I'll tell you. The bread definitely. No, I could have that bread in the middle of Roosevelt Island, right by the ruins of the smallpox hospital. I can have that bread there, and I'll still fall in love amidst the ghosts of the smallpox hospital in Roosevelt Island. But this I gotta taste a little bit more. You know, there are certain dishes out there that are not going to be mind-blowing, and that's okay. But they might just linger with you. You might not be blown away immediately, You might not have an epiphany like I had with that bread. You might not even want to take a photo of it. But then you find yourself many weeks later, maybe even many years later, and you're like, wow, that was good. That was a good dish. I think this is that type of dish. It's not mind-blowing, but it's good. With an extra O. Seafood is fresh. And Veronica says she's allergic. Veronica, they have a few non-seafood options. They have a lot of non-seafood options. They have a regular Kachori Pepe, which again is just pasta, pecorino, and black pepper. Shinny says, try white wine with it. Yeah, let's try it out. Yeah, it combines well. It combines really well. Ashley adds an extra, oh, thank you. Good, yes. Did you have marinara sauce with that? Says Mike. I don't think here they really are having marinara sauce. They do have like a dish with tomato sauce, but I don't think they have marinara sauce. Sarah says it's a perfect combination. Yeah, white wine usually is a combination with seafood, so it's usually the acceptable combination. Red wine is usually combined with heavier pastas, cheesy pastas, or meats, especially like red meat. Now I have a feeling this is going to combine well with the bread. But not yet, because I still have food on this plate. I can't soak up the juices yet, but stay tuned. And now it's getting full. As you can see, people start streaming in Italian restaurants right by like 9 p.m. This place probably would be packed to the brim. And they probably do have reservations. I just got lucky because I came very early on the Tuesday. So if you come here on a Friday, Saturday, it might be a little bit more risky. So pro tip, if you're visiting a very popular restaurant, come on an off day and come very early. Matt says Italy boasts an impressive 387 Michelin stars. That's quite a lot. Did I have any garlic bread with that? No, Mike, we are not in New York City. Though they actually do have a garlic bread option. They do have a garlic bread, but no, we're not in New York City. Lots of people. Yes, now lots of people are coming in. Yeah, lots of people. They do have garlic bread, but I think it's just this restaurant being interesting because you won't usually find it. This one's hard to kind of. Hard to pick with a fork. Axie asks, have you tried risotto? I haven't tried risotto yet in Italy. One of the best risottos I've ever had was in Greece, in Athens. I tried a risotto at a beautiful restaurant. I forgot the name of the neighborhood. It's Kolkaki, I think it was called. Oh my god, they had a risotto with truffle oil. Ooh, that was delicious. But I haven't tried a risotto here. And George says, careful, people are coughing. Yes, people are indeed coughing. Coughing out of the sheer joy of the food. Yes, indeed they are. Hey, did you make reservations? I did not. I just walked in. Love risotto, says Irene. Oh, I'm so glad you do, Irene. Careful, someone's coughing. Indeed they are. Yeah, Paul, indeed. And Thank you, goodness, says Stephanie. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Wow, a lot of people. This is a popular restaurant. And look how well dressed people are. This is actually a good table because we can see the people dressed. Did I go shopping? Asked Sunshine. I did. I did go shopping. I usually don't go shopping on trips, but this is a long trip. And someone earlier asked me, when are you going back to New York? How long are you staying in Europe? I'll say this. I went shopping for new shirts and a new shorts as well. Because who knows how long I'll be here. Thomas says, I actually talked to my wife about a trip to Rome yesterday, all because of you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I also bought souvenirs at that toy store that we visited. The toy slash kind of souvenir store. The collab with Federico was amazing. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Dean. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tiny says, where we're going to next? Rome is only on my itinerary thus far. I have one more week here. Ray says, nice shirt. Thank you, Ray. If I know I would come here, I came here spontaneously. It wasn't planned. If I knew I would come here, I would dress a little bit better, but luckily I'm outside and ain't too much of an issue. Hey, welcome to the EU, says Christoph. You're welcome to the EU. Thank you so much. I love the EU. Europe is a wonderful place. Well, you go to Sicily, says Goddess. Rome is the only thing on my itinerary. But who knows where I'll go next? Maybe it'll be Staten Island. Maybe. Love your shirt. It's the best, says Wendy. Roland says she was amazing. We'd love to see her more in the future. We'll see. We'll see. I told Federica that people really love the show and they would love to see a part 2. Go to Frenese, says Paul. What's in Frenese, Paul? And did the chef scare you today? No. The guy who approached me earlier is the owner, along with his wife. No, he's the opposite of scary. He's actually very kind and very enthusiastic. He seems to really enjoy the restaurant. And I came in, he greeted me warmly. It was true hospitality that I haven't really experienced so far in Rome. So this has been the first time I experienced that kind of very warm hospitality. People have been very nice, don't get me wrong, but this has so far been the most hospitable, warm welcome I've gotten in the restaurant. So that's the type of things that people really fall in love with Italy, is these types of experiences. Just a little bit more left. I'm not sure what fish is this one. If anyone knows what this is, I think it might be octopus. Yep, it might be an octopus, a mini octopus, maybe. And we had another one here. Yep, octopus. Oh my god, they had an octopus here. This is really combined. Very soft calamari as well, very tender. But pro tip: don't eat your bread before the meal like people would do in America. Use the bread to soak up the juices. Gina, can I recommend an Airbnb in Rome? At the end of my trip, I will show my Airbnb and also give you a tour and also tell you the prices and provide you with the link. So you can use that one, but I'll also offer recommendations for Airbnb, just in general, like how to search for a great Airbnb. I'll tell you the best neighborhood, which you'll see at the end of my trip. More and more people behind you, yeah, more and more people. It's getting now full. As I'm eating this, because I'm taking my sweet time, feel free to ask me anything about Italy, Greece, or traveling. How about a day trip to the Amalfi Coast, Maisie? I'm very tempted. I think I'm definitely doing Assisi. So stay tuned. I think Assisi, the birthplace of the home of St. Francis, one of the more interesting figures in the Catholic history. I will be going to his birthplace most likely on Friday. Stay tuned. And on Thursday, I'm collaborating with Michele Ponte, and we're going to a neighborhood called EUR. He's a really cool YouTuber who does similar things to me. He goes to other countries that I usually don't cover. He's been to Kenya. He's been to other like really crazy places. Wendy says, when's your next 360? Oh yeah, you know, I'll be posting one tomorrow morning. Stay tuned. I'll be posting one tomorrow morning, and then I will be making a few more. Stay tuned. There's gonna be a few more 360 videos. And high-end prices would think where you're eating right now, says Virginia. So the prices aren't that crazy high. You're gonna see the total. I think the total is going to be around the same as we spent at that very spicy carbonara place. I think we might end up spending around the same. So stay tuned. I'll tell you the total at the end. Do the 28 stairs in Santa Cecilia. Jonathan, I visited in 2019. I tried to make a video, but they don't allow. They strictly don't allow video in Santa Cecilia. So I wish I can show it. It's a very interesting piece of Catholic lore. Excuse me, Catholic lore. And unfortunately, they allow zero filming. There's like a guard there, shushing people, even if they speak a little bit too loud. Bella asks, will I collab with more tour guides during this trip? I will be collabing with Michele Ponte, who is a YouTuber, Thursday. EUR is a very interesting part of Rome. Lots of pre-modernist architecture, says Dean. I can't wait. Peggy says, did you plan this trip or are you just winging it? I'm mostly winging it. Great thing about Rome is that you stay in a fairly centralized, you don't really need to plan too much. Are these restaurants recommended to you or are you finding them to yourself? This restaurant was recommended to me. The neighborhood was recommended to me by a viewer. Said, hey, check out Garbadella. And he linked me to an article by a local blogger who covers Rome. And she, in her blog, recommended this restaurant. So thank you to that urbanist viewer who mentioned Garbadella to check this place out. Alana says you inspire people. Thank you. I'm glad that's the case. I've learned to wing it more. So when it comes to traveling, I've learned that you sometimes don't need to plan too much. If you have like somewhat of a budget, you don't need to plan too much. Things are figure-outable here in Europe and most places around the world, but here in Europe, since you don't need a car in many of these cities and many of these countries, like in Italy, you're not going to need a car. You don't need to stress out about the car thing. So a lot of things are easy to figure out last minute. Where to go next, what city to visit next. Airbnbs are usually always available in most cities, in Italy at least. Greece was very easy to find Airbnb. There's many other countries here in Europe that are easy to find Airbnb. Not all of them, but some of them. Hotels sometimes are easy. I don't have too much experience with them. And then, yeah, basically everything can be figured out last minute. Food can be figured out last minute, especially in a place like Italy. There's so many options for food, so you won't be like left without food options. Okay, now for the best part. Shiny is people are smoking, that's why. Alright, now for the best part. Alright, look at this. That's how you do it, the Italian way. Soak up all those juices. Get it so soaked. Is a car necessary in Puerto Rico? Yes, it is, Susie. Yeah, unfortunately it is. There we go. Look at that. Peggy says, Ariel, you're killing me. Killing me, Ariel. I basically made like French onion soup. That's a good way to enjoy the sauce. Focaccia bread and the saucy fish taste of the sea thing that's happening here. My sister told me that car rentals in PR are like $400-500 a day. No, they're not that expensive, Susie. Maybe maximum 50. But it won't be that expensive, Susie. Have you noticed a lot of other solo travelers during your time in Rome? Not really. Not really. A lot of people here travel in groups. A lot of Europeans travel with friends. That's why I notice our significant others. So the Germans, people from the UK. I've seen a lot of Europeans here with friends or significant others. Americans as well. I've not seen that many solo travelers here. I've met more solo travelers in Mexico and I saw more in Greece than I've seen here. I'm not sure why. There's bound to be solo travelers out there, but I haven't seen it. Ariel, ¿me recuerdas a alguien haciendo eso? ¿Quién? Victoria dice. Victoria says I remind her of someone doing the bread with the dish part. Yeah. Colleen, local. Thank you so much for tuning in, Colleen. But yeah, it's a gentleman is a local behind me. So no, I haven't seen too many solo travelers. You do see sometimes solo diners, not too many though. Not too many. This is a bit more of a rarity. What's happening behind me? Kristen says you're never alone. Yesterday's live stream is going to be unforgettable, says George. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed yesterday's live stream with the Jewish district and everything. Kay says Rome is a romantic country. Maybe that's why so few solo travelers. I think so. I think it's a country that does not attract people who are solo traveling too much because it's very romantic, and I think a lot of people get the vibes like I'll go to Rome when I'm with someone or going with friends, maybe out to party, but I think people really don't feel compelled to go here alone. But I'm generalizing, of course. So, okay, that's a good assessment. Any significant changes between your 2019 trip and today? Excuse me. Ronald, that's a great question. So Roland asks, any differences between my 2019 trip and this one? This one I'm taking a lot more easy, so to speak. In my 2019 trip, I really planned a lot more, especially in terms of my videos. Not that my videos are, not that I'm slacking off in my videos, but more so I'm being more loose with my videos. So I feel more relaxed in that context compared to 2019. Also, the videos are a little bit more kind of wandering, and I'm now doing more restaurant videos. When I did in 2019, I only did maybe one restaurant video. And now there's a lot more outdoor dining, which is awesome. So it's a lot easier to make restaurant videos. And then beyond that, there's not too much of a difference. I feel familiar with the city, so it's a lot easier to kind of get around without thinking too much. Just a question, the menu card, is there any pizza with pineapples? Says Raven. Oh, Raven. So Federica earlier in the broadcast said, early in the morning, she says, every time you mention pineapples with pizza in Italy, nonna, which is a grandmother, dies. It's blasphemy here. And I told her I really do enjoy pineapple on pizza. Like I do. It's a really immense pleasure for me to eat some pineapple and bacon on a pizza. And she gasped from horror. And this was after the broadcast. So no, you won't find pineapple pizza here. I tried to search for it. I couldn't find any place. I heard rumors that there are 2 or 3 places out there being very kind of against the grain and making pineapple pizza, but I don't know of it yet. I don't know yet. Stay tuned. Do you have a room for pudding? Says Susie. I have one more course. I have the segundo plati next. And then I'm not sure if they have dessert, so we'll see. I love Hawaiian barbecue and pineapple kettle chips, says Girl McCraw. Oh, that's so cool. And someone asked me, how does Rome compare with Greece? Great question. There are different cultures. Greece is the more you spend time in Greece, it's very evident that it's a very communal culture. So there's a lot of families, a lot of people hanging out together. And there's a kind of a sense of making sure you're having a good time, even if you're a stranger, even if they don't know who you are or a foreigner. There's a sense that they want to make sure you're having a good time. By all means possible. Even if you say you're having a good time, if they think by the way you're looking, the way your body language, they will do their best. So that type of hospitality is more kind of bringing you in than in other places. Here in Italy, it's more of a big city culture similar to like New York. It's a big city. So there's not that much kind of like bringing you in, at least in Rome. I haven't been to the smaller areas in Italy yet. Yes, finito. Grazie. So I haven't been to those other. And the woman with the hair, with the blue hair, that's the co-owner. That's the other owner, the one with the blue hair. So that said, with Greece being more kind of communal, after a while, after about like a week and a half, I started feeling kind of really a part of the culture. It felt really nice. And the fact that I was also making videos, for some reason I was gaining a lot of Greek viewers, as some of the Greek viewers watching right now can attest. I was gaining a lot of them. And on TikTok, I was spotted by like 4 or 5 Greeks randomly in the street. And they were just new followers. They were not people who've been following me for months or years. People who just follow me yesterday or a few days. And they somehow saw me in the city. And when they approached me, they were like, "Oh yeah, good. I love what you're doing in Greece. Let me show you other places in Greece." I got a lot of messages of people saying, "Hey, let me show you around my own town, my own area." I got so many of those messages. I couldn't respond to all of them, so my apologies to a lot of the other people who messaged me who I didn't get back to. But that was really interesting. So I really love that about Greece, that communal culture. Rome is more of a big city, as I mentioned, so it is, people are more sticking to themselves. Groups of people are sticking to themselves. I don't see too much mingling happening kind of randomly, unless if people know each other. And yeah, that's the difference. I would say then in terms of food, Greece has a lot more kind of salads and more kind of fresher foods and more... Greece has more kind of greenery in their foods. Here in Italy, it's more kind of bread and cheese and grain and pasta. Can we put a book together, says Girl in the Curl, with the pictures, and we find you with selfies inserted. Maybe one day I'll make a picture book. Stay tuned. Let's just say that if you want to taste good Snickers for later activity, eat pineapple, says Goodis. You know, there's some juice bars here in Rome. More in Greece, but there's juice bars here. So yeah, I've had pineapple juice at night. Was the meal you had in the Jewish Quarter better than tonight's meal? Though that meal was very different, it was really good. So I enjoyed both of them. Would I go back to that other place? I think I would. But this place, I already want to come back and try the cacio e pepe. So I'll say that. I really want to come back here like almost immediately. I could maybe come back here like tomorrow just to try the cacio e pepe. Because now I'm very curious. That was an amazing pasta. Italians are different mentality in the north and south, says Dean. Yes, I've heard. Maybe I'll explore more South Italy. Maybe it has a little bit more of that similarities to Greece. And Goddess, you don't eat fish. Don't worry, there's non-fish items on this menu. Next item is going to be a non-fish item. Finally. Have I ran into Dan again? Jen, are you referring to my friend Dan from New York? No, I've not seen him in Europe. I don't think he's in Europe. Ariel's on a serious mission. Indeed I am. What's your next country to visit? Who knows? Maybe Staten Island, maybe somewhere else. Rome is the only thing on my itinerary. I'll tell you that. What's on the list? I don't know. Alright, let me show you more around the ambiance. So now the sun is going down. Are these locals, tourists, or mixed, says Goddess. I think all locals. I've not heard English. No English. So I think all locals. We are kind of out of the way, so we're kind of like in what would be the Brooklyn of Rome. So it's like a tourist going to Bushwick. They do, but it's a bit out of the way. So yeah. Well, actually, tourists are not going a lot to Bushwick, Brooklyn, but you get the idea. It's a bit more out of the way. Your production on these live streams seem to be getting better and better, says Joe. I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Joe. About 1,400 restaurants in Rome, says Ronnie. Wow, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. Dean says, LOL, Staten Island and Ariel would be hilarious. Oh yes, I think it would be hilarious. Who knows, I just might do a week expedition in Staten Island. Stay in an Airbnb in Staten Island. Unfortunately, I gotta walk around, I gotta rent a car in Staten Island. Even though it's a tiny little island, I still gotta rent a car. Do you see the enthusiasm on my face with the prospect of renting a car? Wendy says don't go there. Nah. Dean says I'm crying. Dean, oh yes, I'm so enthused to rent a car because I love driving. I love renting cars and going in highways and parking. Oh my god, so charming and romantic. It can be, but not for my mentality. I'm more of a walking person than the person who drives off into a sunset, like in those typical American movies. Ooh, Ronnie says 14,000. Yeah, that sounds more like it. 14,000 restaurants. That's quite a lot. Yeah. Simon says, what's Staten Island like? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know what Staten Island's like. I'll tell you. Maybe I'll find out. I fully don't know. I barely have been there. It's a very far, far distant land. Very, very distant land. When I went to Italy, we drove over the country and it was awesome, says Cake Fate. We got to see a lot of little mountain towns. Oh, yeah, that is the benefit of driving around. Yeah. Colleen says, you're so charming and sweet. Thank you so much. And everyone, give hearts to Colleen. She's been tuning in quite a lot. I haven't been able to see her comments, but she's been watching for such a long time. And now she's watching on YT. So everyone give hearts to Colleen. Your wanderings always leave me wondering what is next. Awesome sauce, says Inspire Life. I'm so glad, Inspire Life. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did I have lunch with Federica? Yes, we ate pizza. It was really good. She took me to like a local place for pizza. Hermes says, you seem to like to drive as much as I do. It was torture for me when I lived in SI in Staten Island. Yeah. Before sunrise or before sunset, says Sarah. You asked me to pick which one is the best movie. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Before series of films takes place here in Europe. Before Sunrise is the first one, starring Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, directed by Richard Linklater. It takes place in Vienna. The second movie takes place in Paris. The third movie takes place in Greece, actually, which was very interesting. Was it Greece? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Greece. I don't think it was Italy. So that's an excellent series of romantic films if you want to really kind of get a European sense of romance in a through an American lens. It's really fascinating. Really great film. Christoph says yes, it was Greece. Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Did Woody Allen make a movie in Rome? Yeah, he's made a few in Rome. The most recent one, I think that was at least seen by people. Woody Allen makes a movie every single year, so he makes a haul. He's very prolific. I think the last one that people watched was called When in Rome. Grazie mille. All right, this last dish. I'm excited. It doesn't look like much, but we're gonna see how it is. This seems like we have gone into the countryside of the Apennine Mountains, and we are dining with the shepherds in a little wooden shack as a storm hits and the wooden beams are rattling and the goats are singing with their chimes. This is how the dish looks like. Let me show you. Simonetta, yes, I'm in Roma. Sì, in Roma. So this is grilled Pecorino cheese, and that's the reason I order it. Grilled Pecorino cheese, which is protected in this region of Italy, Lazio. What appears to be potatoes and some local honey. So there we go. We're eating with the shepherds during the thunderstorm. Anne says I can almost hear the soundtrack of the Eating with the Shepherds during the thunderstorm. Hey, S Fields, nice to see you here. Blue says don't get fat. What's wrong with being fat, Blue? What's wrong with being fat? What's wrong with having a little extra weight? You have a little bit extra weight, you have a little bit more cushion for the hugging. Have you tried tripa alla romana yet? No, I haven't tried tripa alla romana. Alright, let's try the pecorino cheese on its own. I wonder how this is going to taste. This is making my heart flutter. Wow. The taste gets deeper as it travels into your insides. This gets deeper. This sheep lived a very good life. So, it's pecorino. It's a lot of pecorino. Pecorino is very strong. It has a salty taste to it. And a bit funky as well. But the fact that it's grilled, I don't know, it has a very interesting element to it. It's a very interesting element to it. It's grilled. It feels like a halloumi cheese. I might be mispronouncing that, but the grilled cheese in Greece. Michelle says he can't decide what he thinks about it. No, Michelle, sometimes you have to savor the food before you speak on it. You can't, you know, especially in American culture, we're kind of so used to telling people, just speak, goddammit, just say something. Well, sometimes you gotta wait for it. You know, the great director, David Lynch, says that his biggest pet peeve is going to the movies with someone who at the end of the movie, when the credits start rolling, they go turn over to him and say, hey, what do you think? And he says that he hates that. And the reason he hates that, and he can't stand going to the movies with people like that, is because he says that you need some time to savor the film before you really can formulate some worthy words about it. But of course, I am not a director like David Lynch, nor am I a writer, so I can't deliberate over the taste of this pecorino cheese too long because I'm on live video. So rather than taking maybe a week, a few days, a week, I take a few seconds. But trust me, those few seconds get more to the heart of the actual experience of this food. Something I can really give you a little bit more eloquently. Tammany just became a new super urbanist. Hey Tammany, thank you so much for becoming a super urbanist. I really appreciate it. So remember, I think especially with vlogs are edited. I keep mentioning this. I'll keep on mentioning it. As media consumers, we're conditioned to be very quick with our media consumption. I've noticed this on my own, so I'm talking about my personal experience and what I've observed. That we're conditioned to be very quick. I noticed this on TikTok when I post videos that are one take where I don't edit them, so they're just telling a story without editing. I get a lot of comments, people saying, "Oh, you're talking too slow. Pick up the pace. Why are you taking so slow? Why are you speaking weird?" And people are so used to kind of having a bombardment of information. That bombardment of information kind of just hits you like crazy because everything is so edited. And in YouTube, they edit even every single little pause, every single little part of it. And that's why people are kind of obsessed nowadays with having everything super quick. I've noticed this, I've spoken especially with Americans and more with younger people from all around the world. They're so quick, they so are eager for you to finish up your sentence. They just really, really want you to get to your next thought now. But sometimes you gotta pause. What's the hurry? Really? What is the hurry? Just take your time. Let's dip this into the honey. This honey is very thick honey. Oh. That is an awesome combination. So the honey is super thick, very crystallized. Very crystallized honey. I'll show you. Over here. Crystallized honey, but the combination of pecorino that's already very kind of salty in flavor with that sweetness of the honey. So good. Let me try the honey on its own. I see the blue light of the police. Yeah, they're coming because this broadcast is getting dangerous. The food is too good. They're about to shut it down. Because, yeah, you can't really break the secret of these places. That's why the police has come. So yeah, the police is down there. Or the ambulance. Ambulances came because the food is too good. So yeah, these are potatoes. Carmen says, enjoy, hey again, enjoy. Thought you were back in New York City. No. I'm staying, never leaving. I'm staying in beautiful Europe. The potatoes are potatoes. Yeah, they're potatoes. Potatoes are potatoes. Dare I say it tastes like a potato. I hope that gets the message across. They're well cooked. They're nicely charred on the outside. Oh, that's nice. Let's try it with the honey. Never tried honey and potatoes. All right, just dipped it in the honey. It's a potato. But it's a good kind of filler with all this immense cheese. I think this is a dish to share. This is not a dish meant for one person. This is a lot for one person. Let's try it all together. Potato, cheese, honey, all in one bite. One bite to rule them all. Yeah, this sheep definitely lived a good life. I can taste the sheep frolicking in the fields. And as it frolics in the fields, it passes by a beautiful honeycomb and it does its regular bah at the honeycomb. kind of a very friendly at the honeycomb. The bee is busying by, and the sheep keeps on frolicking about. I can taste the very sheep's life in my mouth right now. Her name was Beatriz. Oh yeah. Now her name and her life is coming into my mind. Her name was Beatriz. She had a dear friend named Bertha. And no one really knows why the shepherd called her friend a rather non-Italian name. But they got along. They got along. Up in the Apennine Mountains. Their shepherd, Giovanni, really good guy. Worked for a very long time. He hasn't even retired yet. He's already in love. "67 years old." Yeah. Let's talk honey. You're having a beautiful dinner, says Lucy. Indeed I am. I gotta drink some more wine. I'm too sober, everyone. Too sober. Way too sober. That's why I'm starting to talk about poetry and the sheep of the life of a sheep, the sheep of a life. It's because I'm too sober. This is what happens. Good news is that she's probably still alive to bring happiness to others. I think she is. I think she is. I think that's her very purpose. This is the most cheese I've had in quite a while. Hyde says, for wine and romance, this is a perfect place. I 100% agree. Hyde, that's a great observation. This is a perfect place. No wonder a lot of people don't come here as a solo traveler, because everything about this city, and I assume for many parts of the country, is romance. The setting, you know, we're in a kind of an outer neighborhood. It used to be the suburbs, or it used to be the industrial area of Italy, Carbonara. It was filled with a bunch of factories, and yet there's romance even in this industrial neighborhood. I love New York, but you don't find that much romance in Bushwick. It's fun, it's exciting, it's interesting. It's definitely cool, and you see awesome music and art galleries and coffee shops, but it's not romance. But here, even in the industrial neighborhood, the Bushwick of Rome, there's romance. That's very interesting. I think this is why this city definitely is a place to come with a significant other. Highly recommend it. You cut the cheese with such elegance, says Paul. I'm glad. I'm glad I cut the cheese. Susie says, don't be dissing my hood. I'm not dissing the hood. I'm just mentioning that. Bushwick, there's not that much romance. There's a lot of other cool things, not romance. Romance can be had in Bushwick, but the very place isn't really romantic. Susan says, LOL, and Susie says, I'm joking, you're right. I don't mean to be too cheesy, but I love Rome. This meal is truly memorable. Wow. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your like is? Says S Fields. Yes. So if you haven't pressed that like button yet, press it right now. We have one more course for this meal. If you have any other questions about Rome, Greece, or travel, we've also been to Mexico. So if you have had a conversation about travel in general, feel free to ask right now. Keep the conversation going. I can continue talking about the life of the sheep, but I prefer to answer your questions before I talk more about the life of Beatriz, the sheep. What Union Station ain't romantic, says Ronald. Are you referring to Union Station is in Washington D.C. You might be referring to Union Square. Yeah, of course, Union Square is romantic. Oh, romantic. The smell of I don't even want to get into it. Of course, Union Square is romantic. Cake Fake says these streams mean so much to me. We were supposed to honeymoon in Italy, but then COVID happened. Oh no, Cake Fake. I hope you do come to Italy. Remind me where you're watching from. I hope they open it up soon. It's open up for at least Americans, so you can come over here. And I think I see a lot of UK people coming here, French and Spaniards and Germans. So hopefully you can come back. I see the family has a small baby. Yeah, so I think families here dine also pretty late. It's a pretty late night culture, but not super late night like New York can get. So while this city, people are eating at like 9, 10 p.m., I don't see too much nightlife at like midnight or 1. I don't see too much. And while there probably is, you don't really see that many kind of like street food places open very late night or bars open really late night. Some bars even close pretty early. They close like 11:30 noon, midnight. So yeah, New York definitely gets more late night. Miss Fancy says, with which figure in history would you switch lives for a day? Oh, wow. That's a very good question. Whew, I'm cheesed out. Wow. That was a lot of cheese. I'm gonna need some sparkling water. Oh my, that was a lot of cheese. Anyways, who I would switch with for a day? Let me know. Anyone, feel free to answer that question. Who would you switch with for a day? Any historical figure? Since we're in Italy, let's stick to Italy. Yeah, let's stick to Italy. I think it would be really interesting to switch with, for a day, with Fellini, the director of La Dolce Vita. Apparently, the way he made movies was kind of crazy, and a lot of like stuff happened during the shooting of La Dolce Vita. I think Anita Ekberg still talks trash to Fellini. And now other people really love him. So I think it would be really interesting to switch with Fellini for a day. Ronald says, I would love to be a Roman emperor. Do you fancy experience? A day in the life. Which Roman emperor would I fancy experiencing? Roman emperors really lived tough lives. But I think the only one I would love to experience would be Marcus Aurelius. So let us know. What emperor's life would you live for a day or a week? I think Marcus Aurelius. Ashley says Donatella Versace. Ooh, interesting. Donatella Versace. She also lived a very crazy life. She's still alive? I think she is. They're about to release a series. Ridley Scott, the director of Gladiator, if I recall correctly, is actually directing a Netflix series about Versace family. So that's going to be very interesting. Robert says Augustus. Charles says Casanova. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Casanova, I think, is more related with Florence or Venice. Yeah, that's a good one. Bella says, well, not for me. Anybody that you have talked about is always defecate. Yeah. Caracalla, poor Caracalla and Vespasian. Death by number 2. That kind of sucks for those two guys. But Marcus Aurelius, for anyone who doesn't know, was the philosopher king, people call him. He was the man who wrote the Meditations. And he was also the man who continues to inspire people in a Stoic lifestyle. He was part of that school of philosophy that came back from ancient Greece. And Stoicism was the belief that many challenges will come into your way, but the best thing to do when those challenges come is to just face them and stand your ground. Don't look back, don't run away, don't try to seek an easier path necessarily, but just face those challenges head on. That was kind of the Stoic philosophy. Which there's a few things to admire about that, in my opinion. Simon says Da Vinci. Indeed. But Ronald says Vespasian and Caracalla. Crappy ways to die. Yep, crappy ways to die. Yep. I would go with Hadrian, says Ronaldo. Oh yeah, Hadrian did live a very interesting life. He lived a very interesting life. I think he was one of the few emperors that died. Well, he died young for today's standards, but back then he was pretty old for an emperor. I think he was in his late 60s. Stephanie says maybe one of the popes. Oh, cool. Heaven says Marcus Aurelius was a king and a benevolent, so I understand. I'm glad you do, yeah. Robert says Hadrian had a male concubine. He did indeed, yes. There's quite a few Roman emperors who had male lovers. This is a Michelin star restaurant? Don't quote me on that. I couldn't find out, but it's Michelin rated, that's for sure. It's in the guide. If anyone can confirm, what is its ranking? It's definitely in the guide. What is its ranking? Let us know. How about whoever invented the Carbonara? That's Fields. I'm not sure if there is a single progenitor or a single inventor of the Carbonara. Maybe there is. Tom would switch with Francis of Assisi. Yeah, he also lived a very interesting life. Suffered, unfortunately. All right, let me ask for some dessert. Do a dessert menu?
What?
Desserts? Yeah, that's it. All right. So, let me know. Do you guys want to experience dessert? Or should I just show you the menu and kind of just end this live stream? Let me know. It's up to you. It's up to you. I do this for all of you. This is not pleasure for me at all. This is pure business, pure work. So, if you really want dessert, I guess I will oblige. That's it. Alessandra, Empress Livia.
I can take
Yes, you can take it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. All right. So Wendy says votes for dessert. Miss Fancy says we go all the way. Phyllis says yes. Tina says if you're hungry for it, I can go for a dessert, especially too. That was a good cheese dish. Pro tip: if you order that cheese dish, share it with someone. That's not a solo dish. Solo dish, maybe go for their other second dishes. Very good, but it's more of a sharing thing. But I definitely can go for a dessert. And Joe says, I've been watching since 4 a.m., so please continue. Don't stop. Ooh, okay. So I don't know what these mean. So you can see the prices are pretty much in line with like the touristy restaurants in the middle of Rome. So you're not breaking the bank here, luckily. Oh my god, this one looks good. Sfoglia de nocciola con ricotta y pere. So that's hazelnut with ricotta and pear. Oh wow. There's an asterisk here. Why is there an asterisk? Semifreddo amaretti. What does that mean? Let me know. I don't know what these mean, everyone. Soberto limone. That would be a good choice, yeah. Second one has amaretto. Really? This one has amaretto. I never had a semifreddo. Oh, semifreddo, that was in Santorini. Wendy says nuts again. Yes. Anything with pistachio and cherries? I don't think cherries are really liked here, unfortunately. Unless if it's the raw kind. And of course they have the liquors. They have a limoncello. Oh yeah, we gotta try limoncello. Oh, Stephanie says no, they're Michelin rated. Okay, so they all have stars. They're Michelin rated. Sorry if I miswrote the title. I'll fix it. Ciao, Urbanus. Nice to see you here. Hey, Dogsworth. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Pepe al vino. What? What's Pepe al vino? Hey, Susan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, you were saying bye to Dogsworth. Okay, limoncello, definitely. I'm not sure which one to get. Let's see. That looks so good. But this one is really, really making me tempted. Oh, Pepe al vino means peaches and wine. Thank you so much. Pepe al vino. Interesting. Peaches and wine. Barb says, second one, amaretto. Peach, not fish. Okay, thank you so much. Hazelnuts with ricotta and pear. Yes, that one sounds really good. Pregunta el biscotti. El biscotti. A mí no me gusta tanto biscotti personalmente. Yo no creo que sea tan particular. I think the biscotti is something a little bit more that we can find everywhere. Oh, the star is frozen. Oh, thank you, Gabriela. Oh, it's a frozen dish. Okay, thank you so much. Ooh, okay, so maybe something else. Oh no, the nocciola is frozen. That's weird. So Esfield says pesque. It's pronounced pesque. Pesque. Thank you so much, Esfield. Pesque. He is eating the entire restaurant. Indeed, I'm gonna order at least 4 desserts. Essentially. Ariel, there's some apps where you can translate. Indeed, you can. Let me show menu. I'm a chef. It says Panka. Okay, Panka, I'll show you the menu. You did great with that pronunciation. Pesque. Thank you so much. So CH is a hard Q sound. Cake Face says, I wish you order 4 desserts. Oh, the biscotti is made in the house. Panka says, absolutely first dessert. Alright, we got Panka, who's a chef, who recommends the first dessert. The Cicolato y Mandorello. Oh, it's a tart. Oh, interesting. Wendy says 400 coming up. Yes, so order now, forever hold your peace. I will get desserts for everyone, of course, because all you guys really deserve some desserts. Oh, mandorellos or almonds. Oh, no, okay. All right, thank you for letting me know. That's Fields. All right. Lynn says, you're eating dinner, we're eating lunch here in SoCal. Oh, cool. That's the beauty of live video. You're seeing all this in real time. The amaretti also has almonds. I'm gonna get the sfoglia, the nicciola y ricotta y pere, and limoncello. Show Ariel you care by liking, subscribing, and sharing, says Stephanie. Yes, thank you. Wow, we have 400 people tuning in for this broadcast on UYT and plus 40 more on Facebook. That's quite a lot, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've been really breaking records here in Italy, and I'm pleasantly surprised that a lot of people are tuning in for a food live video here on YouTube. Even though food live videos are actually the most popular thing in China, to the point where it's a $9 billion industry. But I didn't know that was going to happen here in the US or America or English language streams. Alicine says, you look like an Italian AC. What's an AC? What do you mean, Alicine? I've actually already received from a few people telling me that I look Italian. But I don't see it. I thought I looked straight up American. I'm not sure what happened. I thought I look 100% American. Alexi says I look like an Italian actor. I think it's the glasses. Love your food video, says Debbie. I'm so glad. Sfoglia is a doughy pastry with layers. Ooh, that sounds good. Everyone loves tea, says Elizabeth. Indeed they do. I will make it more general. You look like a European, to be honest, says Penejotes. Indeed. Lucy says I have a Latin look. I think I do. I think the closest to a European I look is Spaniard or Portuguese. Alright, let me order. You like a baseball cap to be American, says oh. Yeah, if I really want to be American, I have to wear a baseball cap and I have to wear some Air Jordans. Victoria dice, enseñanos el menú nuevo. Es difícil escoger. So Victoria says it's hard to choose. I'm already settled. That first choice. Sometimes follow your intuition, go for that first choice. Ese es el menú, Victoria. Gary says, with your sunburn, you look like a Scot. You know, Gary, I've seen a few videos of Scottish content creators on TikTok, and a few of them are actually very kind of you know, they look a little bit more on my complexion, and they are darker haired, so it's very interesting. Alcine says, no, you are shy, Ariello. Definitely Italian with yes, I would like the sfiogola de nocciole and limoncello.
Okay.
That's it. Gretchen says, just tuned in. Did I miss the whole meal? Gretchen, you are in for the best part. Dessert. And the place is popping. I told you, yeah, you're gonna need reservations for this place because it is indeed popping. Yeah. If as I mentioned before, with the popular Italian restaurants, best bet if you're a solo traveler or a couple or big you could be anyone. Pro tip: go on an off day, which is like a Tuesday, Monday, or Wednesday, and go when it first opens. Because if you wait until peak time, if I would have came here now, I might not have had a seat because a lot of these tables are reserved. Manfred says, good afternoon from Princeton. Thank you so much for tuning in from Princeton. Italy is the best on our planet, says Manfred. Oh, that's cool to hear. Can't wait to one day show Princeton, actually. It's a very interesting college campus with a lot of history. What were the dishes, says Gretchen? Oh, you gotta look back. I had a lot of cheese for that last dish. Dessert, my favorite part of the meal, says Kate. Oh yeah, okay. You know, there is a full restaurant in New York City that is only dessert. So you can have a 5-course dessert meal. I'm not sure if there's one that exists like that in Italy. Esfield says it's been a cheesy stream. It has indeed. It's been a cheesy stream. Hey, welcome everyone. Nice to see you here. Wendy says, you're so handsome. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate it. Yes, you fit quite good here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm so excited. People should use their national flags as their emoji when to know where everyone's from. that would be very useful, Gary. Just have a little emoji where I know people where they're from. Isn't it hot in Rome? It is indeed. That's why I'm sweating. I feel hot. It ain't the cheese that's making me sweat. Have you tried the local version of avocado toast? I have not tried an avocado toast here yet. There's one place in the neighborhood right below this one, or right next to this one, called Ostiense. And they have a famous brunch place, a very popular brunch place with younger Italians, younger Romans, and they have avocado toast there. But I saw the photos. It doesn't look that interesting. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna try going there. Babington's, I'm tempted to just go for afternoon tea. The sheer pleasure of it. Not like this video, which is work. You know, this is work, this is serious. But Babington's will be for pure pleasure.
This is homemade.
Homemade, oh, wonderful. Oh, grazie. This smells like a good warm hug. Very lemony. I can hear even a nice cello playing. Cue the song Courtyard of Dreams from the Urbanist, an Urbanist Coffee Break album. Ooh, wow. That's super lemony. So I need some guidance. I haven't experienced this yet. I haven't gotten this far in Italy on the meal. I've had dessert. I haven't gotten as far as ordering digestif. Is the digestif ordered or drunk before the dessert or right after it? Should I wait for this after the dessert? Let me know. So Irios asks, what is this? This is a homemade limoncello. Limoncello is a lemon liqueur. Lemon liqueur. Bernadette says after. I would wait, says S. Fields. Limoncello is very light, no worries. That's it. All right. Oh, I'm glad I got this one. This is a beautiful tart. Look at this. Oh, this is good. I'll show you a little bit more. Closer look. Now then eat, says Sunshine. It's an after thing. After dessert, a lot of people say. Be okay same time. Jen says now. We're getting very mixed messages. Okay. Look at that tart. This is a thing of beauty, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. This is a tart. Wendy says, I want to bite that. Well, grab your piece now. Otherwise, they'll be all gone. Ricotta cheese. Some hazelnuts is used here, but I don't know where. Maybe it's used in like the cream or in the cake. Pears. We see a pear right there. That layer is pear. And then the crust. And then we have a little droplet here. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe this is the kind of a liqueur. Or a drop of honey, maybe. It seems like a liqueur. So ricotta, pear. It seems like hazelnut is used somewhere in the cake. And something here. Terry says, we want some. Save a bite for me. Well, you better claim it now. This is the type of dessert that there's a certain type of person you go out on a date with. Let me know if you or your significant other is like this. Where they say, oh no, well, I don't want dessert. You know, they order, you know, the dessert menu comes and you ask that person, to generalize, usually it's a woman, and they usually say, oh no dessert for me, no dessert for me. And you're like, okay, all right, no dessert for you. And then the dessert comes, and boom, the spoon, the fork, immediately for the dessert. Let me know if you're one of those people, or if you are with one. I know I'm with one of those people. Now I know to order not just one, maybe two desserts, or order the bigger one. Ariel, you have a date with 420 people. Indeed I do. Oh, 420. Oh yeah. 420. Joey doesn't share food, says Terry. That is a Friends episode. Yes, indeed. I think it's also in How I Met Your Mother. C says, I do that. I'm a big guy. Touche. It's very bright. It's very... The pear here is so juicy. It's so good. The pear gives a lot of the taste to it. Someone asked me, are you okay with the hazelnut? Yeah, I'm only mild. Can't say this too loud in an Italian restaurant. I'm only mildly allergic to almonds. Mildly. Meaning I only get an itchy throat. I'm not sure. I never tested a lemon had a bunch of almonds. I never like consumed an entire bag of almonds. I haven't done that. So I don't know what would be the effect if I do that. But if I eat raw almonds or almond flour, I get an itchy throat. That's the only thing that happens. Every other nut is okay. This is so soft. It's also a wet, moist cake. It's not really a dry cake. So it looks like a thick, dry tart, but it's actually a very moist cake. So it's more similar to a tiramisu in that taste. I'm tasting things I never tasted before. That pear almost tastes like candy. It's so flavorful. Ashley says, you carry EpiPen, you're living on the edge. No, I don't need an EpiPen. It's so flavorful. So it's moist, not moist like a tres leches. Tres leches is like very moist. So not as moist as a tres leches, more like a tiramisu. Super soft, super tender, but that pear tastes candy. I'm not sure what they did with the pear, but it's just perfectly candy. Wow. And it's gluten-free, so they're not using some type of breading. It's not flour. They're not using flour. This is a flourless cake. Just like my shirt today. It's a flourless cake. I feel like one of those Roman emperors being fed sliced pears directly as I'm sitting down in my huge throne, drinking copious amounts of wine. Bill says it's buffering. Oh no, I hope it doesn't buffer too much. Let me know if it's all good. Hazelnut flour? I think it might be hazelnut flour, yeah. Let me try to see if I can try to taste the cake on its own. Yeah, this is the cake on its own, let's see. Yeah, it's hazelnut flour. So that's where they use the hazelnut. They made a flour out of hazelnut. I'm so glad they didn't decide to do it almond flour. And it is soaked in liqueur. Yeah, this is a really good dessert. The liqueur they use has such an interesting taste to it. I have a feeling this is going to combine well with the limoncello. Try it out. Wow. That's strong. Oh my god, that is a strong limoncello. So it is a punch of lemon. It tastes like 1,000 lemons have been squozed and squeezed into this tiny little glass, concentrated. It is very a rum, or it tastes more like a wine port. Yeah, squoze and squeeze. First it's squoze and then squeeze. Stephanie. Squoze, yeah. You know, when things get squoze, one gets squiffy. So yeah, very good limoncello. Can you bring back some drink that you're drinking? This is homemade. I'm not sure if they sell a bottle of it. I could ask and see if they do, but yeah, I doubt it because this is a restaurant. It's not really they're not really selling kind of foods to take home. When life gives you lemons, squirrels, says Cake Fake. Yes, indeed. We help the English language evolve. Yes, S feels. If Shakespeare can invent words, why can't we? Is there any connection in the stream getting more jewelry the more Ariel drinks, says Gary? So yes, the stream getting more buffering is a manifestation of the more drinking that is being had. You don't need coffee at the end of this meal. This will rouse your spirits. This will lift you up. The tart is gone. No more tart, everyone. You missed your chance. Sunshine says, I love this version of Ariel. I'm too sober. Sunshine. I gotta stop using that joke because I remember I collaborated with someone. I collaborated with I forgot who it was. I collaborated with someone, and at the end we kind of, I think we went out drinking or something like that. And I remember the person was concerned. They were saying, they were like alluding, thinking that I was in sobriety. And they were like, oh yeah, no, we went to get coffee. And they were like, oh yeah, it's good that we're getting coffee, you know, it's a good alternative to alcohol. And the person thought I was I was in sobriety. If you don't know what sobriety means, it's someone who is quitting alcohol because they're alcoholic. I luckily don't suffer from that, so I'm very grateful that's the case. 100% my heart goes out to people who do. But I found it very amusing that because of that joke, the individual I was collaborating with literally thought I was in sobriety. So no, everyone, no, I'm not in sobriety. Otherwise... Alvaro says, Rome has been good for you. You look very relaxed. You should stay there, says Alvaro. Well, my visa runs out in about a month, a little bit more than a month, about a month and like a week. So I have two choices. I can stay here. I had three choices. I can stay here until the entire month and something is up, and then go back and finally cover Staten Island. I got the second choice. I can get hired by the BBC, and because I'm working with the BBC, it is required of me to travel more within Europe, and thus my visa is a work visa, so I can do that. Number two. Number three, I can marry a beautiful European woman and get my permanent residency here. So I got three choices. Three choices. Let me know which one you vote for. Three choices. Which one do you vote for? Asfiel says, when you go back to New York City, you gotta do a Staten Island trip. I think I've been hyping it so much that it might be a requisite. The second choice sounds nice. It does indeed. It does seem that that's a choice I want, definitely. Number three is the best for you. Why can't you do 2 and 3? Well, potentially, yeah. I mean, 2 and 3 would be a great combo. Cake Fake says, You know all the people commenting on your love life are gonna go crazy now. This is a show about history and travel, everyone. It's not a show about my love life. But part of travel is finding out about visas. So I gave you the 3 choices that make sense. And they're applicable to anyone who travels. So you can get a work visa. Some people are getting lucky and they work at something. In my case, it would be probably a BBC, or Greece loved my video so much that they hire me for Greek national television. And that happens to people. Sometimes they get a work visa, and then sometimes people, they get into a relationship with someone in that country that they fall in love with, and they end up staying here. Terry says number 4, come to London. So number 4, going to London will be wrapped into number 2. How about, Nick says, how about one wife in Greece and one in Italy? I only need 1 European visa, Nick. And such I have to race says, option number 5, just go to Jamaica. Helena says, London has no romance like Roma. Well, London has its beautiful perks. Maybe you can get a Spanish visa based on ancestry. No, S-Field. I doubt that is the case. Because there's so many millions and millions and hundreds of millions, I think? It's definitely like maybe 400, 500 million people who are descendants of the Spanish. So I don't think the Spaniards are giving visas due to ancestry. Otherwise, they would have to give visas to a whole lot of Mexicans, a whole lot of Cubans, a whole lot of Paraguayans, a whole lot of Peruvians, a whole lot of Colombians. Susie says, come to the BBC and marry a Scottish girl. Yeah, BBC has a lot of offices in Scotland, so that might be wrapped into option 2. I live in the Netherlands, so I order flowers. Flowers. Don't you have close relatives from Spain? No. Oh, so S-Fields. Oh, okay, that's why you mentioned. No, I have no close relatives in Spain. No, my Spanish ancestry goes back 8 generations, maybe. It's quite far back. Quite far back. Maybe a little bit closer. Maybe like 6 or 5 generations. Yeah, somewhere around there. I want one of these tiny glasses now. Look how cool they are. Imagine serving a mini affogato on here. Affogato is a scoop of ice cream with a shot of espresso. Esfiel says, oh, I see. Still, I will research that option. Thank you, Esfiel. Hannah says, come to the UK and work for the BBC. Oh, yeah. I can't invite you to my country right now, COVID, says Helena. Yeah, a lot of places are still closed, which is a shame. Some places are reclosing, so Italy might close again, so I hope that isn't the case. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meal. That is the end of the meal, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll stick around for about, say, 5 more minutes. Feel free to ask me any last questions about the food, about the... let's keep it to food. Ask me any questions about experiencing food or travel. Ask me any questions about food or travel. Ryan says, yes, stick around. I love your shirt. I just love butterflies. Yeah, and there's quite a few butterflies here in Rome. Someone earlier asked, what are the bugs here? Which is a good question, a valid question. There used to be mosquitoes, but not too many this season. I'm not sure why. Maybe because it's windy. There's these small little butterflies, tiny little butterflies. I think they might also be moths. Very small. There's flies, of course, and I haven't seen bees. There's bees. There's a lot of bees. Are you missing any food from the States? Yes. I was deeply missing some eggs, some bacon, and some avocado. Deeply missing that. And earlier today, in the morning, I had exactly that. I went to a place in the historic center and got myself a good scrambled eggs with bacon, avocado, cafe Americano. I was in love. Do you have an overall favorite city you've gone to recently, says Hermes? It's a great question, Hermes. Rome is magical. Rome is livable. Rome is a place I can easily spend a long, long time ago. I mean, long time more. I can spend quite a long time. But something about Greece was very interesting. Something about Greece. I feel like that trip would be very interesting if I stayed a little bit longer. It was already beautiful, but in terms of like a favorite city, a city that you fall in love with. You know, Athens to me didn't really stick out like a Rome or like a London, New York, Paris, or Thessaloniki didn't stick out like those other cities. But something about Greece is like, it's like compelling me to stay. There was something there that felt like some magic is waiting for you if you're just here a little bit longer. I feel it has been evoked in like films where a character feels like compelled to stay in a place. Terry says a special person. No, it's not tied to a person. Otherwise, I would tell you. But no, it's not tied to a person. It's a little bit more beyond that. Santorini, not Santorini specifically. You know, Santorini, you kind of get the idea of it after like 4 days. I could stay in Santorini for 3 more days and experience a little bit more, but it's not a place, you know, that's gonna be there. You know, I would spend a month or 2 there. I would not spend a month or 2 in Santorini, but I'd say more like Athens and Thessaloniki. This is only how I felt on Mona Island, says Gretchen. Yeah. Have you thought of visiting Capri? Oh, Charlotte, thank you so much for asking that question a few times. Sorry I didn't answer it before. I don't know. I don't know too much about Capri. I have a friend who is a professional tour organizer or travel agent here in Rome for Americans. Her name is Travel Italian Style. Her name is Cassandra. I've already featured her in a few of my videos before in New York City. And I met up with her in Rome, but I did not show her in Rome. But she mentions a lot Capri. And she's very adamant that it's a very beautiful place. But I don't know too much about it yet. Let me know, why should I visit Capri? Where to now leaves a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Where to? But would I mind being a person who is as influential and as giving in terms of great entertainment as in Anthony Bourdain? Yes, I would love to do that. I'll be more than happy to be a person who gives as much entertainment and joy and wonder to people all around the world as he did. I would never aim to replace him specifically. Yeah, video keeps on pausing, unfortunately. So the island of Capri is very famous. Cool. I agree. Greece took my heart. I've never been on a plane, but my son is taking me there. Says Janice, oh cool, Janice. I'm so glad you're visiting. Janice on YT. We have a few Janices. Describe a favorite meal with food from around the world, says Barb. The best city for food around the world is New York. By far. It's a city where you can find every single food around the world. The second best city for that, I would say, is London. When it comes to foreign food that I've had in a city, outside of New York, because you've seen a lot of my New York food videos, the foreign food that blew me away the most in a different city is in London. London, I had some financial issues where I did not have as much access to money as I thought I did. So I was very tight on the budget. So tight, I could not really afford a regular meal in London for about a week. It was really hard. And they were so damn filling, and so damn amazing that I was so deeply grateful for these kind of fast food Chinese bakeries in the middle of London. And that it showed me that even in the toughest of circumstances, the world takes care of it. ¿Y conte, por favor?
Any coffee?
No,
Okay.
just something. What was filling? Ofofutos? Pork buns in the Hong Kong style. So a bun stuffed with pork. Lynn says, funny, I would never think of a Chinese bakery in London. Chinese bakeries in London are really good. Yeah, they're really good. I can't wait to see you in London eating authentic meat pie. Well, I've actually done videos. I did a month worth of videos in London eating meat pies. Yeah, haven't been on YT doing that type of content yet. So stay tuned. What was the name of the sandwich from the Italian bakery you went to a couple of days ago? Ask Stephanie. You talking about bonsi? That was not a sandwich? Oh, that was a sandwich. It kind of wasn't, but it was like a focaccia bread with mortadella, which is a ham filled, stuffed with pistachios. Yeah, that's what I had. It was a focaccia with mortadella. Focaccia with mortadella. And Lynn says, we all know how you love meat pies. Do you go to the bagel shop? Oh, yes, I did, Terry. And Brick Lane, yes, I did. Yes. Do you enjoy Thai, Vietnamese, or Japanese food? I enjoy all of them, yeah. I especially loved Vietnamese and Japanese. Sushi is amazing. Though I'm very cautious in eating sushi outside of New York. I see sushi sometimes here in Italy, but I don't know, I don't feel too comfortable eating it. Marco says, where would you go tomorrow? 6 p.m. every single day until August 3rd. Until August 2nd? I'll tell you when. About then. Until August, I'll be going live. So a few more days, 6 p.m. What about Indian food? Asked Lynn in London. Oh, you know, I did not. I had one great Indian food experience. It was an Indian breakfast at a place called, I forgot the name. It was a franchise, and it's a really good franchise restaurant in London. Starts, I think, with a T. and it's really good. Yeah, I had a great meal there, but I did not experience too much Indian otherwise. Lynn says August 3rd is your birthday. Oh, so cool. 6 p.m. Rome time, 12 noon New York City time. And Amalfi Coast looks so dramatic and gorgeous. Yes, it is. It is indeed. It is. Kickfake have you been to Cinque Terre? No, I have not been to Cinque Terre. No. That's it. I'll pay by card. Over there? Okay, thank you so much. No worries at all. All right, everyone. I'll show you the total, and then I'm gonna co-pay. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And do you enjoy Canadian food? Asked Chris. Chris, I haven't had too much experience, but when I went to Montreal, I was really blown away. I was really blown away by the maple syrup, of course. I was blown away by the breakfast in both Montreal and Ontario. And I really loved the Lebanese food because there were a lot of Lebanese immigrants in Ontario. So, yeah. I've tried just a little bit of Canadian food, not too much. So everyone, this meal was only €7 more than that pasta carbonara meal. In the pasta carbonara meal, I had half of the food here. Half of the food there, and it was about the same price. Look at that. This is why sometimes going a little bit outside the historic center is worth it. You can have a far better meal for a lesser price. This could have easily been shared for 2 people if you're having a nice kind of lighter dinner. So this was definitely very filling for 1. So look at that, €55. Of course expensive. This is like maybe $70 US. But then again, we're in the Michelin rated restaurant and it was a very gigantic meal. 1 drink and 4 courses. That's with the dessert. Oh, actually a second drink, there was the limoncello. And then the water, they only charge $150. And they charge also for bread, $150. So there we go. That is the total, €55. Thank you, Ariel. I've gotten to see more Rome in real time than I have seen in pictures. Oh, Susan, I'm so glad. Someone messaged me before. Everyone send. Oh yeah, that's it. Everyone send hearts to Pat, because Pat has been watching these videos, and I'm not gonna say the reason why, but it touched me when she reached out to me. She's been watching these videos, and I'm so glad I can bring Rome to Pat and to many other people tuning in. So thank you everyone so much for this kind of virtual travel experience. Send all your best wishes to Pat. She's been a viewer and she's been loving these videos and watching for a very powerful reason. So Italy has been wonderful. This was a wonderful meal. Highly recommend this place. Ristoro degli Angeli, which means the restaurant, I think, the restaurant of the gods, restaurant of the angels, restaurant of the angels. A really great staff. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Arrivederci amici, buonanotte.